What is going on, friends? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Guy Hamasaki. Not exactly sure how to pronounce it. I do my best. But this video was submitted by his father, Todd. Once again, similar to Evan, that I just did a few videos ago. It's cool to see that father-son sort of support. So, let's get into it. Well, before we get into it, I just want to say, if you guys are interested in a technical analysis or any online coaching of your own, go to www.gripandrip.co.co. That is my brand, coaching, business, website, whatever you want to call it. Go check it out. Lots of different options there. Programming, technical coaching. I got you. Even coach consulting, if you're interested in that sort of thing. So, once again, www.gripandrip.co. Go check it out. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, this is Guy tossing the hammer. Forward turn. He's pretty young. I think this is his second year throwing the hammer. And they're pretty decent. Decent patience. Perhaps posture could be a little bit better. Deep in the legs, though. So, one more watch. And we'll get into it. So, let's break it down. Okay, so in the wind, starting at the back of the circle, hips, shoulders, everything square to the back. Start with the pendulum start. Hands out away from the body, nice. I like that. Turning the shoulders back to face 270 pretty well. Hands out away from the body really nicely. I love this. This is great. It's a good thing to learn early on in the hammer. Alright. No step up, just fixed footed start, shifting back over to the right as the ball goes left. Always a good thing. And then this is where things get a little interesting. Shifting back over to the left side of your body. This ball's on the right. Right elbow's down, it's okay. Left shoulder's up though, right shoulder's down. As hammer goes through zero though, you can see you're sinking down. Hips, chest kind of come down. Alright. Shoulders are kind of level. Looks like left side's a little bit up still. Not the best quality video, as is usually the case when I'm doing these videos, because email just kind of really nerfs the quality. But, like I said, the sinking down I don't think is the best thing. And then you can see left side's doing a lot of turning, right side's not doing too much until the ball goes much left. But I think it's just this left shoulder being up. It's kind of what throws things off. It's got a weird connection where, like, your shoulders, as you can see here, have a slight upward tilt, considering the left shoulder being the primary thing. So your left is just a little bit higher than the right. And then the hips are doing the opposite, where the left hip is down and the right hip is up. So I'd like to see these two more so on the same plane, which means back in entry, like I said, this position is cool, elbows down, but what I would want to see you do is kind of spiral the hands and shoulders down. Look at like a video of Sergey Litvinov Sr. He's a great example of this. As he goes through zero, this left shoulder kind of dips down and spirals downward. He kind of turns the hands to the left a little bit, spirals the hands a little bit to the left, and sets the plane a little bit differently and matches it with his hips. Whereas, like I said, the left shoulder is a little bit up and the left shoulder or left hip is a little bit down. And then with that left shoulder a little bit down, as the hammer goes around the left, you're creating kind of downward spiral into the next turn, keeping you centered, where, like I said, I didn't say yet, but I'm about to say, getting pulled around the left just a little bit. And then, like I said, this awkward sort of planing of the hips and the shoulders, it's not quite on the same sort of parallel line, if you will, parallel plane. Like I said, this left shoulder needs to be down a little bit more, kind of matching the hips and the shoulder. So you want the left hip and left shoulder down, you want the right hip, right shoulder up. When you catch, left shoulder is going to be up a little bit. Shoulders are going to be level, which is great. Hips are going to be okay here. Hips are underneath you. You're over the hips. Left heel comes down. But then you're going to see this left shoulder is going to continue to probably stay up as the throw goes on. Which, here it's okay. Pretty level. Not bad. You know, I made an assumption. Perhaps I wasn't right. But then you're going to kind of see the same thing again. Like, you're very deep in the legs, which is great. You're back over this right side, but I think you could still use a little bit more pressure through this left heel. Get your hips up into it a little bit more. Because you're deep in the legs, but you're so deep in the legs that your hips are a little bit back. Like, this catch is decent. Your hips are just a little bit back underneath or behind you. especially as the double support continues, you don't quite get your hips up into the throw. You're just kind of spinning around with the hammer instead of working the hammer with the hips. Like I said, you got to get them up. So the way to do that is to get the shoulders back, hips up into the throw. And then you're going to see the same kind of thing here. More dramatic tilt in the hips. Shoulders are level. Like I said, not quite the same plane of the left side compared to the right side. You catch. Chest is forward a little bit, hips are back a little bit more than they were even in the last turn. And then you catch. Chest is down a little bit as you go through double support. And now you start to see that left side straighten out. Not straighten out, but tighten up a little bit more. Left side is a little bit higher than the right now. And then you see your hips aren't quite up into the throw, so you're kind of just once again kind of shifting back over this right foot, which is a good thing. I like that you're over this right foot, but the hips aren't going up into the throw. You're just kind of turning with the ball instead of working it, you know. You get pulled around a bit here over to the left side, and then same thing. Hips and shoulders just aren't quite on the same plane. Catch, and as you can see, your path through the circle is down this right sector line. I'd rather see it more down the center, or maybe even slightly down the left sector line. Not like a huge, dramatic drift down here, but just, a slight maybe center, and then just a little bit down the left of center. The last two turns wouldn't be too shabby. So, but you catch. Hips are a little bit more underneath you, but still not quite. Chest is down a little bit still. You're fighting back against it. Doing your best. Staying centered, trying to stay over this right leg. But left side's up just a little bit again. And then you don't quite have enough counter backwards, like I said, through that left heel, so that left heel needs to push back. You need to get up into the throw, and shoulders need to come back a little bit more. And then, same thing here, left shoulder up high, away from that left hip, instead of down on the same plane. And then you catch. Hips not quite underneath you. You're centered over your feet, which is great, but you want your hips a little bit more forwards under you. And then you catch relatively flat, that's okay. Eyes down, chest down. So maybe keep your eyes up. That might help as well. And then coming through on the finish pretty well. So it's pretty close. I mean, like, you're doing a lot of things right, especially for year two. But I think it's just right in entry. I don't think you need to kind of sink down as dramatically as you do. Like I said, you're really sitting the hips down and kind of letting the chest drop. All right, you can stay a little bit taller through the hips, keep this right hip up a little bit more, keep this left shoulder down a little bit more, and then that'll set up the rotation of the whole body better, and things should feel a little bit more comfortable as you go through the circle, I think. Your patience is pretty good. It's just, like I said, a matter of getting your hips underneath you and getting the rotation, getting both shoulder and hips on the same plane. I think that'll make things a lot easier on you. As you can even see here, the ball gets up and away, kind of out to the right, and then that's why your hips going to come back a little bit more. The catch. So getting the hips up into the throw, staying just a little bit taller perhaps. So it's pretty close though. Really good for year two, Guy. Let me know if you have any questions. Todd, if you have any questions, let me know. If you guys need any help, I'm always here. So thank you for watching. If anybody else would like a technical analysis, go to www.gripandrip.co or any other coaching services, programming, lifting, consulting. I'm here to help. All right. Just want to grow the sport. So thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don signing off.